Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is one of the final videos of this Oscar season. My 2019 Academy Award winners' predictions. It all kind of comes down to this one. It's a tough year. Last year, I think this was the easiest video that I made amongst all of the predictions and everything that I did, because you started to see a lot of trends amongst the award shows. And this year is tough. There are a lot of 2-3-headed races. Some that I just think are completely up in the air. There's some really tough competition this year. And there are categories that I still don't feel comfortable making predictions in, but the issue is, we're sort of out of precursors. I mean, there are a couple left, but none that I really think will have a significant impact on what I'm predicting here today. I do think the BAFTAs are important, and I'll get into that a little later, because I think people sleep on the BAFTAs a little bit. Not necessarily the wins, but the nominations themselves, I think, are quite helpful sometimes in terms of predicting these categories. But, I mean, we've got the SAGs, we've had the Critics' Choice Awards, we've had the Globes, we've had the Directors Guild Awards. I mean, we've had pretty much everything we're going to get. And I think it's about time to make these winners' predictions. I've fought with myself, and I've struggled over these a lot. But, you know, if I get them wrong, that's on me. That's not on you. So, these are my official Oscar predictions for the 2019 Academy Awards. I will be touching on the Screenplay Awards, the Acting Awards, Best Director, and Best Picture in this video. Possibly a few more predictions to come in a future video in the next couple of weeks. But more on that later. For now, let's get into the major categories. So to start out in Adapted Screenplay, I have a pretty easy time predicting this one, to be quite honest. This one's been a front-runner for a pretty long time, and it's BlacKkKlansman for me. The reason that I see it as being BlacKkKlansman is because it's Spike Lee's time to win an Oscar. This is officially his year. He has to walk away from this ceremony with an Oscar. I don't see a situation in which that doesn't happen. But Connor, Spike Lee won the honorary award. Yeah, I know. That's not what we're talking about. Spike Lee has never sat in the Dolby Theater, had his film up on the screen, and heard his name called to win an award. People have a significant issue with that. In our society right now, and in the things that BlacKkKlansman touches on, with the delicacies that it does touch on, and the realism that it does touch on them with, there is no way that this movie, in my eyes, does not walk away with at least a screenplay Oscar. Like I said, Spike Lee's got to get his Academy Award this year, and it's not going to be in Best Director. I'll get to that later, which I'll talk about for probably about 10 seconds. But this one's pretty easy for me. I think that this category is a little weaker than original screenplay too. So a film like BlacKkKlansman, which has shown up in Best Picture, which it also has over a fair few of these nominations, like Can You Ever Forgive Me and Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which aren't even in Picture. I think you're definitely looking at a Best Adapted Screenplay winner out of this film. Best Original Screenplay is a little tougher. There's a little bit more to analyze when it comes to that one. I think mainly you're looking at a two-headed race between Green Book and The Favorite, both of which have sort of had their ups and downs. Green Book obviously has picked up a little more. You look at the Golden Globes, where it not only won Best Picture Comedy Musical, but it also picked up Best Screenplay just in general. The Favorite and its ineligibility in the Writers Guild Awards obviously kind of threw me for a loop, made me a little uneasy just because it doesn't even have a chance to win there. However, I'm one to usually shrug controversy off. I recognize that the Academy is a relatively political thing, which I'll also talk a little bit more about later. But usually, unless a piece of controversy really sticks, I don't often incorporate it into what I'm thinking about, because it really has to be an intense amount of controversy. Like, the Casey Affleck stuff clearly did not stick enough to have an impact on his win. Green Book has caused a lot of controversy among a lot of different groups of people for a lot of different reasons. Whether it be inaccuracies, whether it be in the way the actual film is presented, and a lot of it comes to the script and the fact that it's written by Avala Longa, and possibly that has some bias towards the main white individual as opposed to the African-American individual. Whether you agree with this controversy or not, I try and stay out of it. I just like to watch movies to enjoy them and to love film. but that stuff has an impact, and it's blown up large enough where I think Green Book's chances, just kind of in general across the board, have withered away, except for in one category, which, you know, we'll talk about, obviously. And for me, I think it's deflated the film enough to allow room for The Favorite to win this category, which is my prediction. As a film that I think is probably second place right now for Best Picture, you have to be at least a frontrunner for a screenplay or a director category to be even in consideration to win Best Picture, in my opinion. There's not been a film since Chicago that hasn't won director or writing and then one picture. And the frontrunner, or wow, The Favorite is certainly a frontrunner in that category. It's a favorite for the Oscars, obviously. It's tied for the most amount of nominations at 10. And I think that they have finally a chance to give this film a big Oscar, considering Green Book and its controversial elements that have sort of formulated in these last couple of months. I'm not saying that The Favorite's going to win Best Picture. I'm saying that a film like that has so much talk to possibly win Best Picture usually has to pick something else up in order to get itself there. And I think original screenplay could be the thing that it takes that allows us to go, okay, now we sort of have to have a conversation. And I'll obviously talk about Best Picture in a little bit, but personally I'm going to give original screenplay to The Favorite. But don't be shocked if Green Book, you know, does overcome the controversy within the next couple of weeks and still arise on top. People would throw a fit, but, you know, it could happen. Best Supporting Actress. Let's talk about this mess. I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know what point to start with. So, this is the category in which I have no idea, really. I honestly don't. Gold Derby has 15 experts, I believe, at this moment in time, predicting Regina King to win, saying she's a clear frontrunner. I don't agree with that. She absolutely could win, but I don't think that she's, like, that blatant of a first place right now. The only person in this category that I really don't see having any chance is Emma Stone. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Marina de Tavira has a better shot of pulling a Marissa Tomei than Emma Stone does of winning. Because at this point, with everything that's happened in this category, I absolutely think that's a possibility. This category has been all over the place in the last couple of months. And it's caused a lot of speculation. Regina King was the frontrunner for a very long time. 2 months ago, I would have been very comfortable telling you Regina King will take her Oscar. And then she took the Golden Globe, and then she took the Critics' Choice Award. But then she wasn't nominated for the SAG or the BAFTA, which is a huge thing for me. The SAG has not just been a huge precursor of Supporting Actress. It has yet to get it wrong in the last 10 years, up until this year. From 2018 to 2008, all of its Best Supporting Actress prediction winners were correct. Not just nominations, winners. I don't know the last time a winner of an Academy Award wasn't nominated for a SAG. I'd actually be interested to know. And then you obviously have it not nominated for a BAFTA, which I do think is a big deal, and I'll use it in a point later in the leading actor category as to why I think that BAFTA nominations are still a big deal. Not receiving one of those, in my opinion, really hurts Regina King. I think that these two things are too large to overlook, and I know people will say that they're a smaller realm of voters, or that, you know, the BAFTAs are a British realm of voters, but I still think that they are important to look at. Not getting a nomination, not winning is one thing. Not being nominated at either of these two ceremonies is a big deal for me. And then a lot of talk arose about Rachel Weisz, who people are saying could pull a Mark Rylance, which is interesting, because she's literally on the exact same track that Mark Rylance was on. Sylvester Stallone won the Globe and the Critics' Choice Award. Regina King won the Globe and the Critics' Choice Award. Then Idris Elba picked up the SAG. Emily Blunt picked up the SAG. Neither of them were nominated at the Academy Awards. And then the BAFTAs rolled around, and all of a sudden Mark Rylance won. Now this is insinuating that Rachel Weisz will win the BAFTA, which is unknown at this point. But even then, I think if that happens, I think we still have an uncertainty, because I am still convinced that Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone will split votes. Mark Rylance did not have someone from his own film to compete against, and oftentimes that doesn't matter, like with Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson, where you have a clear frontrunner between the two. I don't think there is a clear frontrunner between these two. I think they both play such a pertinent role in the story. They're both so distinctly different for both brilliant reasons, and their characters develop in completely different but unbelievably important ways for the film. And they're both spectacular in the movie. And I think they're going to cancel each other out. I find it difficult to believe they would give the Oscar to one of these women over the other. I just don't think it's going to happen. Even if Rachel Weisz takes the BAFTA, which is very possible, because God knows the favorite's going to win pretty much everything at the BAFTA. So we still have this big, fat question mark, and we don't know. Basically, what I'm doing here is I am going with my gut. Because when Emily Blunt won, I lost it. I had no idea anymore. A lot of people saw my reaction to Emily Blunt winning as negative. That I was upset about the win. I was much more in shock than I was upset. I would not give the win to Emily Blunt personally, but she does a fine job. I thought her performance was good, but I was more in shock of what the hell do we do? Because if I was going into the SAGs thinking Amy Adams is going to win this thing, and then she's got it. And then I was completely thrown off my horse. So I'm going with my gut. I'm going with what I think could happen. And I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable with this. But I'm giving it to Amy Adams. Because she could win the BAFTA and then literally pull a Mark Rylance. Say that happens. And she doesn't have someone from her own film in her own category that she's going up against. Plus, you know, people are still talking about her snub from Arrival. This is her 6th nomination. You could argue it's a Julianne Moore moment, even though there's another one happening in another category. Maybe they'll love the chance that they get a chance to give out 2 of them. I don't really know. But you also have the added bonus that Amy Adams puts on a performance that we don't often see out of her. She is playing a vile, evil character, and she does it pretty damn well. I think the Oscars are going to love seeing that kind of versatility in Amy Adams. They loved Vice. It's an 8-time nominated film for the Academy Awards. Taking a spot in Best Director, getting Sam Rockwell in Supporting Actor. It's clear that they loved the performances in this film, and that they loved the film as a whole. And I think Amy Adams genuinely has a setup. If she wins the BAFTA, that's huge. Because that is the Mark Rylance moment. But then if someone else, like if they give it to Margot Robbie, then I'm gonna just fucking, I don't know what I'll do. Because then it's just, you know, then it's just whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I know people want me to say Regina King, but I think that missing out on a SAG and a BAFTA is too big. I think that's too big. It's too big of a gap. And it gives too much time for other people to gain steam. And I can't in good conscience say that she's going to win, because I don't believe that. Okay, after that rant, let me give a short one. Supporting actor. It's Mahershala Ali. That's it. There's no way anyone else wins this. For a couple, you know, I mean, like I was talking about earlier with the controversy, I think the one individual that the controversy of Green Book supports is Mahershala Ali. Because people have said that, you know, his character may have been written with inaccuracies, and the fact that he still portrays it with grace says a lot about him as a character. Mahershala Ali, that is. And I think that, you know, they're going to want to say, well, you know, screw these guys, you know, for writing him like that, but Mahershala still put on a great performance, so we got to give it to him, we got to make up for this, you know? And, you know, I think people agree that supporting actor is one of the weaker categories at the Oscars. People had talked about Richard E. Grant possibly picking it up, but when he lost the SAG and Mahershala took it, I think that was it. I kind of think that was it. Like, he's lost nothing, and he's won everything. Yeah, that's it. That's it. No one's taking this other than him. Lead actress is another one that now, after I've seen all these award shows, I feel pretty comfortable predicting. As I said earlier, you have another opportunity for the Academy to give out their Julianne Moore Award, as I call it, or their Leonardo DiCaprio Award. Glenn Close has been nominated 7 times now at the Oscars. The fact that she's never won upsets a hell of a lot of people. And I really, when I saw this film, I had my doubts. I think her performance is far and away the best part of the film. And she is absolutely excellent in the movie. But it's a movie that a friend of mine, Max, saw at TIFF in 2017. This is a very old film that I even saw in August. And when I saw it, I was like, this isn't going to be nominated anywhere else. People are going to forget about this movie. And I really, for a while, before we got into this season, thought it could be a Lady Gaga versus Olivia Colman, because people, including myself, were very confident in Lady Gaga early in the season when I was talking about the fact that I thought the wife would just kind of wither away. And then all of a sudden, Glenn Close took the Globe over Lady Gaga, and yes, Olivia Colman took the Globe as well, so you had that contention. And then you had the tie at the Critics' Choice Awards, and I was like, maybe if Olivia Colman gets up there, then you still have that interesting head-to-head, but Lady Gaga took it, and then Glenn Close took the SAG. The way I look at it, she's yet to lose anything. And taking the SAG sort of brought her over top of Olivia Colman and Lady Gaga. People are still talking about the possibility of Olivia Colman. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's much more unlikely, because Glenn Close has the career benefit right now. Olivia Colman still has plenty of chances to win her Oscar. Chances are she'll win the BAFTA, but honestly, I think Glenn Close could actually still win the BAFTA and just cement her place even further. I don't think there's much of a debate about this one anymore. I think you definitely got to give this one to Glenn Close. Leading actor. This is the other one that I really, really, really struggled with, because when I was watching the SAG Awards, I was ready for them to say Christian Bale for Vice, and then that be it. That be your winner right there. And they didn't. I think you're finally looking at the interesting battle, Michael Keaton versus Eddie Redmayne. You know, people didn't know what was going to happen. People claimed to not know what was going to happen with that, but the only thing Keaton won was the Globe, so it was kind of a done deal. But there is so much to look at when it comes to this category, and in my opinion, like, they're almost on a completely even keel when it comes to this category. It's insane. They both transform themselves into a real-life character. They both have a lot of political elements playing into their film. The way that I originally looked at Christian, because I was convinced Christian Bale was going to win. There is one person that it seems the Academy hates more than Donald Trump. It's probably Dick Cheney. And there is no better way to give one of these to the people that they hate the most than giving an Oscar to Christian Bale for playing Dick Cheney in an evil and vile way. But then, do they want to give one of these to Bryan Singer, who in this time, especially in this time, has all these allegations against him, everything closing in around him, and then saying, you know what, fuck you, we're not going to give your movie anything, but we're going to pluck your lead actor, who you had all the problems with, and you had all the issues with, we're going to give him the damn Oscar. Who would they rather give the middle finger to? I really don't know. It's almost an impossible distinction to make. So you have that. I really thought Christian Bale had the physical transformation going for him, because that's always a big help. But then again, Christian Bale has lost out with the physical transformation before with American Hustle. But I believe that's the year when Matthew McConaughey won, who also had somewhat of a physical transformation. But then, like, kind of, so does Rami Malek, and, you know, you have both sides there, I guess, that you could debate. So then you just have to look at the wins, and they both have a Globe. Bale had the Critics' Choice Award, and I was of the mindset of, if Christian Bale takes the SAG, he wins. And then Rami Malek took it, and now you have this head-to-head race. And they're both really strong precursors for the lead actor category, the Critics' Choice Award and the SAG, actually. If you look back on their histories, they've both done a pretty damn good job at predicting the winner, but the SAG does inch out the Critics' Choice Award a little bit. And frankly, the SAG Award is one of the strongest precursors for this category. It just is. Historically, probably 90% of the time, whoever wins the SAG wins the Oscar. And I think someone's playing piano upstairs, so I apologize for that. But I think people will debate that with the Casey Affleck and the Denzel thing. And this is where I said earlier I would talk about BAFTA nominations again. Because yes, Denzel Washington won the SAG and went on to lose to Casey Affleck. But Denzel Washington wasn't nominated for the BAFTA, and that's what put me over the edge for Casey Affleck. Yeah, you won one, but at a major award ceremony, you weren't nominated. I'm telling you, these BAFTA nominations, they're important. They're the only damn award show that put Paweł Pawlowski in Best Director, and sure enough, look where he showed up at the Oscars. I think people need to pay more attention to these sometimes. All in all, you know, Christian Bale could take the BAFTA. He's British. You know, there you go. But then, again, you've just got more of this 50-50, and it's another situation where I have to go with my gut, and I don't know. I don't know. I want to predict both, but I can't. I have to pick one. Like, I came into this saying Rami Malek. When I started shooting this video, I was going to say Rami Malek, for sure. And the more I talk about it, the more unsure I am, because I want to say Christian Bale, but I don't know if I believe that. I gotta make an executive decision. I have to make an executive decision, and I have to do it right here and right now. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I feel the same way I did about Christian Bale and Rami Malek, or about Casey Affleck and Denzel. But the thing is, they both have BAFTA nominations, so I don't have that helping me. Fuck. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with what my gut's telling me. I'm gonna go with Christian Bale. I'm gonna go with Christian Bale. Do not be surprised if Rami Malek wins. I sure won't be. But I honestly, like, people will say, you shouldn't have predicted him because of this, you shouldn't have predicted. At this point, it literally is coming down to what my gut is telling me. And my gut is telling me Christian Bale. Perhaps I have too much faith in Vice. But I don't have a whole lot of faith in Bohemian Rhapsody for anything. With all the controversy surrounding that film, at least Vice is controversy-free. I'm going with Christian Bale. I did it. I did it. My hands are clean. I did it. Best Director, I don't even think I need to talk about. Like, do I really need to talk about this? I mean, come on. You know, Alfonso Cuarón is going to win this award. There's nothing he's lost. Nothing. He's won everything. I'm not talking about this one. He's got it. There you go. I just talked a lot about that last one, so there you go. And then Best Picture. You get your big guy. I'm not always great at predicting this one. I haven't gotten this right in a very long time. I think I predicted Spotlight. I predicted La La Land. I predicted 3 Billboards. Apparently I'm not great at this one, but right now, Roma has everything that it needs to win this Oscar. It's won everything it needs to, and when it takes director, inevitably, that's going to be huge for it. Especially with, and I do think the favorite is a strong second place right now. But when Olivia Colman gets beat out by someone in a film that's not even nominated anywhere else, and when it's still not even the front runner to win the screenplay category, which is oftentimes, at least in recent history, sometimes more of a precursor for Best Picture than director is. I think a screenplay Oscar can be huge, but then again, sometimes, depending on the film, director means more. But I think if the favorite takes original screenplay, you will have an interesting conversation, at least for the 2 hours before they give out Best Picture. But as of right now, Roma has everything it needs. It's following the current Venice Film Festival trend of Golden Lion winners going on to win the Oscar for Best Picture with Shape of Water last year. Do I feel 100% confident in my answer? No. I do think people are underestimating the favorite just a little bit. I think it could kind of come out of left field if it takes that screenplay Oscar, which I do think it will. But as of right now, I would lay my cards down on Roma. I feel pretty damn good about that one. So that's it. I think it's going to be a crazy rest of the award season. A really fun couple of weeks. And I hope you guys stick with me through it. A couple things I want to talk about to end this video off. One, thank you to everyone who has stuck around with me through these videos, through these streams. Any of you that have come out to watch these streams with me, I really appreciate all of the support. There will be a BAFTA reaction stream this coming Sunday. I will be doing a reaction stream to that. My phone will be off most of the day, considering they'll release the winners before the show happens, which is what happened to me last year, so I'm going to be a lot more conscious about avoiding that. Third thing, I'll do an Oscar stream as well, but fourth thing. I hope that many of you will stick around with me after the award season. I'm planning on starting a podcast that I'll do weekly where I'll talk about the films that I've seen across the week, the film news that's happened across the week, and constant little Oscar things, looking into releases for later in the year that I think have any kind of contention of being nominated. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what all of you guys think, what's going to win, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and why. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.